to the Collins Net here. We've got about, we've got 7 on the list so far. You're at the bottom of the list, but I got another one that just walked in next to me, so I'm going to get my second op to check in. Go ahead.
Kilo, Foxtrot, 6, Quebec, November, Golf.
All right, thank you, Lisa. We got you on the list. Let's see, is there anyone else who'd like to check in? Please come now.
Kilo 7, Kilo Echo Lima.
Like I said, I'm going to ease on that room, boys. Everybody have a good night and enjoy it.
Okay, I got a 7 Kilo Echo Lima. Could you repeat that again, please?
Hi there, this is Kilo 7, Kilo Echo Lima. Carl.
Have a good one.
Carl, okay, got you that time. We got you on the list. Kilo 7, Kilo Echo Lima. Thank you very much. Where are you located, Carl?
QTH here is Ferndale, Washington. Back to you.
Very good. Okay, got you up in Washington. Okay, fantastic. Let's see. We got it's the top of the hour. So let me go ahead and get things started here. Get this net started officially. This is W6DQ, Whiskey 6 Delta, Quebec. My name is Dennis. I'm located in the town of Inyokern, California. I'm going to be the net control station this evening. Welcome to the regular Friday evening West Coast edition of the Collins Collectors Association, Collins Net. We meet here every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, or 0300 UTC Saturday, to exchange information on Collins radio-related topics. We welcome questions and comments on the restoration and operation of Collins amateur, military, and commercial gear. You don't have to be running Collins equipment to join us. Anyone with an interest or wanting to learn more about Collins Radio is welcome to check in. The purpose of the CCA is to promote the preservation, restoration, and use of Collins amateur radio equipment and to preserve the history and lore of Collins Radio. In addition, we provide a technical and historical information archive for Collins Radio. The CCA is licensed by Rockwell Collins to use images, logos, manuals, and printed materials. For more information about the CCA, our forums, activities, services, and how to become a member, please visit our website at www.collinsradio.org. That's collinsradio, one word, .org. Please help our efforts by joining the CCA. You can join us on Zoom as well. We have a back channel that we have fun with every week, and if you're interested in joining the Zoom group, just drop me an email at w6dq@arrl.net. If you'd like to join us, make sure you let me know who you are when you send the email. Okay, that's the preamble. Let's see if we got anybody else who'd like to join us. This is W6DQ, looking for any more check-ins, and we'll get things underway here.
W6RBJ, Whiskey 6 Romeo, Bravo, Juliet.
Excited about it if you ain't opened it yet.
All right, Ron, we got you on the list. See, is there anyone else? I am hearing the East Coast stations in there, but hopefully the conditions will change and they'll drop out. One of the things I was concerned about is the ARRL DX contest single sideband started a few hours ago, and I figured maybe there'd be some activity here on 75. We'll have to pay attention to that and see what happens. I'm sure that Sunday Net will probably be shut down because of that. Anyway, let me go up to the top of the list. We'll start with Chuck, N6AF. Chuck, have you give it over to Skip again? K6LGL over to Kevin, WA6JKN, and then to Mike, W6MVM, and Mike, go ahead and give it back to me when you're finished. So take it away, Chuck, N6AF in the Collins Net. This is W6DQ.
All right, thanks, Dennis, that's great. And November 6 Alpha Fox Chuck, Emerald Hills, up above Redwood City. If you look up the address on QRZ.com, that's a rental house, and I'm maybe 3 or 4 miles northwest of that, up in the hills, where the mountain lions roam and the antenna wire gets strung out, but hopefully not the operator. So let me see. I'm running the 1963 KWM2 and running it through first a 100-watt 3dB pad, lab quality, and then another lower-powered 3dB attenuator. And I got the KWM2 a little bit deloaded, so I'm just lightly hitting the SB220 for about a little over 300 out. off center fed dipole at 35 feet. And not much to report since last week. I'm about 1 week older. There's something. And my wife and I did go up to, I don't know, only about 1,000 feet up Kings Mountain Road in Woodside to throw snowballs at each other earlier in the week. That was pretty bizarre. And riding my bike around the area, including Saratoga there, Joe, when I look across the bay at the Fremont Ridge, I feel like, so, this is what it must feel like to be riding around in downtown Denver, looking west at the Rockies. And Mount Hamilton and Mount Diablo have a lot of snow that we can view from the backyard of our house here. So really fun to have a little bit of that. And that's enough. I'm going to skip W6LGL to take it, N6AF.
Okay, thank you, Chuck. N6AF up there in the Bay Area of California. K6 Little Green Light, Santa Monica by the Bay. Good evening to Lisa. Welcome aboard, Lisa. Always glad to hear you. And Chuck Hine on the weather. There's something that was unusual to report in the San Bernardino and San Gabriel Mountains there. When you needed AH-64 California National Guard helicopters to rescue people who were snowed in, that's very unusual for Southern California. Some people who just simply, got trapped, snowed in, and they can't dig out, and snowplows couldn't come in. This was a day or two ago. Of course, by now, things have changed considerably. So, talk about unusual winter weather in Southern California, but that's, 7,000, 8,000 foot elevation there, Lake Big Bear and Lake Arrowhead. So some of those communities evidently were pretty well isolated there. Okay, not too much more from here. Kevin, you're sounding good there, and finding the 7610. So I'm on my 902DM, basically. That's what I'm running in the homebrew half-wave antenna. It's been up there over a generation. Luckily, it's still surviving. So far, so good. Over to you, Kevin. And, hey, thanks for doing the net on us. W6JKN. Now, let me steady this a little bit. K6 Little Green Light, Santa Monica by the Bay.
Well, thank you again, Skip. Yeah, how about that? Military helicopters out there to rescue those people stuck in the snow. Yeah, that's one thing about operating a digital portable is you're at the mercy of the internet. Yeah, they have had problems with the internet connections around here, and they had the crew out working, and I got another notification that expect more outages and interruptions and all that kind of stuff. Weather-related, apparently. So we'll see what happens. I guess I could always, since I'm at the home QTH, I can always walk back into the shack and do it the old-fashioned way. But operating the iPhone, I'm using new software, so I'm trying to get used to it. It was designed by Marcus from out there in Germany. He's been known to write some really nice software for ICOM using the iOS system for Apple iPads and so on and so forth. So that's the place to go if you have an iPhone and you want to operate ICOM radios. So it's been a long time coming. He first came out with the iPad version about a year ago, I think it was. And he's been working on the iPhone version and just released it here recently. And when I'm talking about releasing software, this thing is fully loaded. I have the full access of the 7610, and I see the packet interruptions here on the phone. Marcus did a great job in coming up with a full comprehensive network analysis feature that I can monitor here. And he breaks it down by all the different ports because the ICOM uses 3 ports. And it's really cool to see what's going on with the audio, the control signals, and whatnot. Let's see. So this thing, it's got FT8 built in. It's got Morse code, so you can type away to your heart's content. He turned off dictation. I don't know why he did that. You can dictate, and it fills up the buffer for the where the key. He can send it that way, but I don't know why he disabled it. I guess it's make it a little bit more harder, I guess, for people. But oh well. And see what else. It has full access to DX clusters, login programs, QRZ. I mean, that must have been my 3-minute timer there. Sorry about that. So everything a ham operator would want for DX contesting with an iPhone, it's all built in. And you can run the dual watch, dual receivers, the whole 9 yards. So it is quite fascinating. I've always said the only limitation on what you can do with software is left up to the imagination of the programmer. All right, that's my 5 cents worth of knowledge there. See, I told you I could read that packet lost. Marcus is a genius. All right, I think I turned it over to Mike. If not, you know who you get it. And who's supposed to get it? W7MS in the group, WA6JKM.
I think it's W6MBM.
Yep.
Oh, okay, thanks. Boy, that sounds like a good piece of software. Really good. I missed the name of it. Could you give it to me again?
Well, you am strong.
Yeah, sorry about that. I forgot to mute the switchover. The name of it is called SDR Control. So that's SDR-Control Mobile. And you download it right from the Apple, what do they call it, App Store? That's where I got it. Over.
Oh, okay. I'll look into that. That sounds wonderful. I'm sitting here monitoring my KWM 380 on a Flex 6300. I have 3 of those, and I got a lot of SDR stuff here. So anyway, but I also have a lot of vacuum tube stuff here. KWM, my KWS 175A4. I got to get the KWS one back together. Really, I had to fix the pan, and it's been apart for months. And I really want to get it back on here. The KWM 380 is fun, but it's hard to beat the KWS 175A4. And I've got a nice one here. I bought the receiver, and Howard restored it, Howard Mills, and I bought the transmitter from him. I got another one I disassembled in the kitchen, which my wife has put up with for the last 4 years. I disassembled it and then injured my leg by running over it with my own SUV. But another story. So anyway, we're going to get that one back together too. Got 2 KWS ones, Q75A4s. Really love this KWM 380. It's really doing a great job tonight, and it often does. And but at the ranch we usually run the S line, so we're here with the KWM 380 tonight. It's a pleasure to run. There's no knobs to tune up here. Just band switches when we're running this, and there's like 17 knobs to tune the S line on the G5RV. Anyway, with the antenna tuner too. big contrast, but a lot of fun. I truly grew up on the 75A4 KWS-1, operating it at Navy stations in the 1960s, and I just fell in love with it. And when I got back into ham radio, I had to have an S-line first and then a KWS-1. So I have a beautiful 75A an S3 line that I was my main rig for many years, and I have a S1 line, a couple of S1 lines that are very good, and I have two KWS-1s and three 75A4s, and also 32V3 and a couple of 75A3s, 75A2 and a 75A1. Not all of which are totally functional, but I'm trying to get them there. And also, I got a receiver I always wanted, an NC300, and I got an HRO 50T, and I got a World War II HRO, which an HRO 5, which is a great fun receiver on CW. I got it working pretty good. Anyway, anyway, I do operate a lot of CW out of here, so it is kind of fun. Enough about me. Good to hear everybody's night. Signals. I'm not sure who to pass it to, because W7MS, W6MBM.
Yeah, it comes back to me, Mike.
They don't have enough.
Yeah, W6MVM, W6DQ. Net control. Let's see. What was I going to say here? Okay, let's see. Chuck was talking about snow. Yeah, we got plenty of that here. We had it here at the house, and it's gone now, thankfully. We don't like snow here, but got plenty of it on the Sierras. And Skip, you were talking about the guys up in the San Bernardino Mountains. You know, they're not the only ones that have those problems. And we had a lot of problems up here, up north, with folks stranded and unable to get to supplies. I was just looking at something, and the National Guard flew in there with Cal OES providing supplies for them. I was just looking for it to figure out, I can't remember if it was Mono County or one of the other counties. I'll have to see if I can find it. I was reading that on Facebook just a little while ago. It was posted by one of the Caltrans, and either Caltrans or CHP that I follow on Facebook. But yeah, they had their problems up there. But you know, I got to tell you, you got to be prepared for stuff like this.
That's just me personally.
I listened to a woman on the news the other day from Big Bear saying the news. She was being interviewed, and she was talking about how prepared they were. She goes, "Oh yeah, we were prepared for it, but we ran out of supplies." How do you consider yourself prepared if you ran out of supplies? You know, it's like, no, you're not prepared. So I had to kind of chuckle about that, but you got to be prepared, because it might not be a snowstorm, it might be an earthquake. You know, if the San Andreas lets go, people are going to be isolated for weeks, if not months. So you got to be prepared for that stuff. You got to do your due diligence, figure out what you need to have in stock. Long-term food storage is going to be needed, because it's going to happen. If these guys had done that, they wouldn't be in the situation that they're in. Anyway, enough for my pontificating here. Kevin, sounding good. Still getting that packet lost there. So, anywho, what are you going to do? Out of your control, and I understand that. I actually have the Smart SDR on my phone to use with my 6700. And that works really nice. It gives me full control of the radio remotely, which is really cool. And I've got to get the new version. They've got a new one that's out that just got pushed out, so I've got to download that. But yeah, I'm going to look at the stuff you were talking about. SDR Control Mobile sounds interesting. And Mike, you sound like me and a few others here on the net tonight that have roomfuls of Collins gear. You're running down your list of stuff. Yep, 75A1, 75A2, 75A3, 75A4, 32V1, 32V2.
What is that?
S-lines. I've got like 3 complete S-lines here. The C line with a 32S3A, a 37 or 75S3C, which is really my fave. But I've still got the first one I bought back in 1969, which was a 75S3. But I've got like 3 of those now, and a 75S3B, and a couple of more 32S3s, and KWM2s, KWM2As, all that stuff. 2 KWM380s. 2 sets of Gold Dust twins. Yeah, it just, it goes on and on and on. Bravo on the NC300. Those are great radios. I had a 303 for a while that I traded away. That was a nice radio. I really liked it, but it took up a lot of space on the desk. That was better suited for my HRO 60 that I love. That's another nice radio. Anywho, okay, enough about me. Let's go to the. I guess I should mention that I am running the KWM 380 tonight. We're pushing that into the Alpha 87A, and Chuck, like you were talking about, we have to use a pad on that. The attenuator really helps a lot. It's a 100-watt attenuator that I made for it. That corrected a lot of issues with the radio and that amplifier. That amplifier does not take a lot of drive. It's a nice amp. I really like it. But that's going through a Palstar HF Auto tuner out to the horizontal loop, a 160-meter full-wave loop that's back up in the air finally and working quite well. So you guys sound great tonight. So that's what's going on here. Let's see. Let me go to the next group. We've got
20 after endpoint.
Mike Mike. I'll get it right this time. God, what am I doing? W7MS. I'm starting to sound like Steve. Where's my buzzer? I need a buzzer. SYD. He joins us here every once in a while. It'd be nice to have him pop in tonight. But anyway, Mike, it's going to go over to you. W7MS. Foster checked out, so it'll go over to Kilo Romeo 1, Juliet Oscar Echo Joe, and see what Joe's up to this evening. And Joe, if you'll pass it over to KF6QNG, that's Lisa, sitting here to my left. And then Lisa can give it back to me, and then we'll pick up some new check-ins, and we'll go to the last guys on the list here. So, Mike, take it away. W7MS is W6DQ for the Collins net.
Well, thank you, Dennis. W6DQ, W7MS, Mike in Reno. And we'll say, before we get too started here, we'll say hello to Joe in Saratoga, Carl in Ferndale, Washington, and of course RBJ from Shaker Country, Mr. Ron, and hello Lisa to finish things off. But good reception from all. Yeah, a little bit of packet loss from Kevin, but it was extremely minor. But it does sound really, really good from the iPhone. There's no doubt about that. It's excellent audio, and of course. Well, Chuck's wife, I'm not going to guess at what decade because, I'm not going to go there, but it's certainly not 29. Maybe it's 30 since it's a decade observation there for her birthday. So congratulations on that and the further celebrations of still being here and celebrating that decade. And Skip's doing well. Covered JKN on the former Gilroy. Well, maybe future Garlic Capital also. I think Kevin in the past has made that there's some overtures to resurrect the festival. And Mike, MVM with the equipment inventory. Well, I'm not going to do that because, my gosh, it's so repetitive. Yeah, we all got a bunch of stuff. And for the folks that aren't obsessive compulsive, well, there's still a future of there's still a chance to be, but it's been fun to accumulate this stuff, and of course have greatly slowed down because out of room and out in the hinterlands of Nevada, it's kind of a pain in the arse to divest oneself of equipment. I managed to do a few pieces last year, but oh my gosh, it's work trying to sell this stuff, but it does happen. And talking about snow issues, I was thinking back, I think it was the winter of 81 and 82. That was kind of a parallel to this one, but of course not on such a wide geographic area for more of this central Sierra Nevada area, Lake Tahoe. That was a heavy snow year, and of course, it'll be 41 years this March that the big avalanche up at Alpine Meadows that I think killed 9 people, and that was an interesting time. Since I knew a few of those folks, but that was an extremely heavy snow year also, but not as widespread. Fine, Dennis. Yeah, be prepared. But I'm thinking of my lady friend's daughter who's in Grass Valley with 3 feet of snow, and they're comfortable, but I also commented on the fact they don't have a real 4-wheel drive. They have all-wheel drive vehicles, but nothing that has a snowball's chance in Hades of navigating any really deep snow conditions. So hopefully they got the plow today, so they can resume normal activities, and that's also assuming maybe the power's back on. But certainly widespread for a lot of folks in those areas. And also for Joe in Saratoga, I wonder if he knows Dick W1QG, who's a rather well-known aficionado there in Saratoga, retired. Actually, he started as an engineer working for Genrad in Massachusetts, so that gives him some heavyweight provenance. But he may be Joe's neighbor there in Saratoga. But with that, we'll keep it rolling. So, we've got to keep people awake here in the roundtable. So take it away, Joe. KR1JOEW7MS.
KR1JOE, if you're there, it's your turn. Go ahead and take it away.
Drats.
Yeah, it sounds like Joe checked out. Okay, guess going to go over to Lisa, and I'll tell you what, let's just catch the rest of the list. After Lisa, you can give it to Carl, KK7KEL, and Carl will have you give it to Ron, W6RBJ, and Ron, please go ahead and give it back to me. So, Lisa, take it away. KF6QNG in the Collins Net, W6DQ.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. Good evening, one and all. Hope everyone's having a good Friday, a safe Friday, warm.
Good Friday was back in November.
Good Friday's coming up. Anyway, whatever.
Never mind.
Anyway, hope everyone's doing well, as I was saying. Let's see, not a whole lot going on here for me, just work, and more work. So, anyway, trying to stay out of trouble, I guess that's a good way to do that. So, with that, let's see, it goes over to Carl. So, KK7KEL from KF6QNG.
5 of them this year.
That's all he's allowed to race.
5.
Carl, if you're there, it's your turn. KK7KEL, W6DQ net control.
Started on the pole on this one, bud.
Well, not hearing Carl now. Okay. Oh, he's left. All right, Ron, go ahead and pick it up. W6RBJ from W6DQ.
Okay, Dennis. W6DQ. This is W6RBJ. Oh, of course, and the Collins Group. So, we have just enjoyed another dry day here on the North Coast. But the weatherman says that we're going to kiss it goodbye starting tonight and tomorrow for a week. So we're kind of sorry about that. We do have had an interesting experience last Monday during a storm. Our friendly power supplier here, Pacific Gas and Electric, had a couple of power surges, brownouts. The lights got real dim, and then they burst back in full bore and managed to fry the
the control board on my furnace. So we've been without any kind of central heating until today when some friends came down and figured it out and fixed it for us. I tell you, I don't know how my forefathers, pioneers, folks that lived without anything but maybe a fire in the middle of their little cabin, made it through some of these winters. And you know, what we've got here is nothing compared to what a lot of people go through. So just to make you think, using the KWM2 tonight with a 312B5 and 30L1. I think I'm going to have to get into the transmit-receive relay on this KWM2 because it acts a little bit weird from time to time. I'm not sure that it's making good contact all the way across. The latest project is a 75S1, and I've been having all kinds of fun with a tuning dial. That is a real amazing piece of mechanical engineering and workmanship. I would love it if somebody out there is real familiar with how the tuning shaft attaches to the dial, because it's a bit mysterious to me. At any rate, that's what's going on in Humboldt County. I'll send it back over to you, Dennis, in Inyokern, and hopefully we'll hear a few more folks. So back to W6DQ from W6RBJ.
All right, Ron, very good. Nice signal down here. And bummer about the control board in your furnace. Yeah, we have a furnace here that acts up every time well, I shouldn't say every time, but if we get high winds, the furnace goes crazy. There's I don't know what they call it. It's to do a more complete burning of the propane, I guess, is really what it boils down to. And it's like a fan that sucks air through the firebox. And when there's an air pressure valve on that, or air pressure switch rather. And when the wind blows really hard, that switch gets stuck and the furnace won't start. And that's a lot of fun, getting up to cold in the morning. But I get what you're saying, and I think about that a lot, about what our forebears dealt with the horrendous, the swings of weather here, where we are especially. It gets cold here, it gets below freezing here, but it also gets up to the over 100 up to the teens and 20s. We've hit 122 here a couple of years ago. So, how do you deal with that? We're lucky enough to have things like air conditioning and heaters and all of that when they work, and when we've got power. And we've had issues like that with Southern California Edison. This was an interesting one. Edison had a fault that dropped one phase of their 220 circuits out here. Well, basically, it dropped one phase of the system, and so everything went crazy. We lost our controller on our submersible pump on the well, but so did a whole bunch of other people in the valley here. Apparently, there were hundreds of wells that got shut down by that surge when they dropped a phase. And it was a mess. And Edison had to replace all that stuff. And the poor guys that do the well maintenance, they were running around like crazy, working on that stuff, trying to get everything back up. So it was a mess. It was a mess. But yeah, I remember that happening. So not fun, but I'm glad you got it fixed. Your friend was able to fix it. That's really great. And Mike, you mentioned that avalanche at Alpine. I remember that. That's odd. And for some reason, as soon as you said that, I was going, I remember that. That was nasty. That was bad news. And of course, we've had a lot of avalanches in this storm. There was one in Tahoe. There's been several up on 395 up near Lee Vining. 395, I think, is still closed between Lee Vining and Bridgeport. They still haven't gotten that stretch open yet, but they finally got it open from Bishop up to Mammoth, so the snow bunnies could go play. One of my friends called the other day. He was stuck in Pearsonville, which is about 2 miles up the road from us here, because the road was closed. He was trying to go skiing with his buddies, and he couldn't get through because the road was closed. So he was calling me to see if I knew some alternate routes, and I gave him a route, and he got through. Took him by Max over there on Highway 190, and going up through Searles Valley and Panamint Valley and over to Lone Pine, and he was able to circumvent the closure. That was pretty cool. He made it to Bishop, but couldn't get a hotel room because the road was closed from Bishop north. He couldn't get a hotel room, so and there in Bishop to stay there. They ended up back in Independence. Was the first hotel room they were able to find going south. So anyway, great stuff. Let's see. Let me take a quick break and see if there's anybody else that would like to join us. This is the Collins Collectors Association Friday Night Net, and this is W6DQ.
50 Juliet Alpha Mike. Kilo Alpha 7 Whiskey Ocean Charlie.
Okay, let's see. I've got Kilo Alpha 7 Whiskey Ocean Charlie. What's your name and location there?
Name here is Bob. Baker Ocean Baker Bob up in Whidbey Island, north of Seattle.
Didn't work for me.
Very good, Bob. Well, thanks for joining us here. I'm surprised that haven't heard Tapio this evening. He's got a beautiful signal down here sometimes, most of the time. And you sound good down here. You got a good signal down here in Inyokern. So thanks for joining us. And I got Mike W0JAM on the list. Let's see if there's anybody else. This is W6DQ again.
K6JBD is on here.
Got you, Mel. WA6JBD. Cool. Got you. Let's see. I'm just taking some notes here, making sure I get everybody here in the right order. Let's see if there's anybody else. One more time.
K6LK.
Got you, Bill. K6LK. Looks like that'll round out a nice group of 4 there. So let's go ahead and, you guys are the tail enders here, so let's go ahead and give you guys a turn, starting with Mike. W0JAM out there in Arizona, and then we've got Bob, KA7WOC, up near Seattle, north of Seattle, and then Mel JBD, and Bill, K6LK. So, Mike, take it away. W0JAM from W6DQ for the Collins Net.
Okay, thanks, Dennis. W6DQ.
Oh, yeah, I went to Rockingham once.
Very fine. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another fine Friday of the Collins Net. Well, I came down from 20 meters a little bit ago, and the joint is jumping. I haven't been back since this net started, but holy cow, it's like shooting fish in a barrel there. There's everybody came out of the woodwork there. So you want a few quick contacts. There they are. Well, okay, too bad about the weather everywhere. By the way, this is Mike near Phoenix, Arizona. We had some hard rain and some really vicious winds here, about 60-mile-an-hour winds, which, it's in the realm of wind, that's not so bad, but for Phoenix, the area, that's getting right up there. But, no real damage up north in northern Arizona. I think near Flagstaff, I forget the number, but they had over 100 inches of snow. I think they just said in this afternoon's news, Flagstaff had something like 24 inches in the last evening, in the last day. That's amazing. Well, I like it because it's ski territory, but okay. It was 63 degrees here today, and I think we'll be moving on up a little bit to higher temperatures, typical Phoenix stuff. We've been about 10 degrees below normal here, really suffering high. Well, running the standard Friday night equipment, 32S3, 75S3 Charlie, running it barefoot, 100 watts, and out to a dipole, up about 35 feet. The dipole is running north and south, so, east and west is the broadside pattern there. So everybody's coming in pretty good here. Dennis, no problem with you. You're at 9 most of the time, maybe 10 over some of the time. So
No problem for the Mets tonight. So let's see if Bob can copy me, and we'll turn it over to him. KA7WOC Bob, this is Whiskey Zero, Juliet Alpha Mike. Bob, did you copy that? KA7WOC, it's your turn, W6DQ.
Thank you. This is Bob, KA7WOC, South Whidbey Island. KWM2A 30L1 and vertically hung loop for the band here. I'm having a real rough time copying most of the stations there, Dennis. Thanks for picking me up. So I won't hold it here. I won't come back for the 73 round because it's I'm just not hearing enough of the guys. But anyway, we'll say 73 with this one here, and K6LK to take it, KA7WOC.
K7WOQ, K6LK returning. Yeah, Dennis, I'm going to make this my 73 round. I just got the dinner call. So anyway, I'm on the Ten-Tech 540 tonight, and still looking around to try to afford some of that good Collins gear. So back there to you, and we'll try to check in tomorrow night there with the skipper K6LGL on the Swan net. I'll get my SW175 going. W6DQ to take it, K6LK.
Okay, Bill, it's supposed to go over to Mel. It was supposed to be to Mel first, WA6JBD. Go ahead and pick it up, W6DQ.
All right, very good, Dennis. This is Mel, Whiskey Alpha 6, Juliet Bravo Delta, Upland, California. Running a 32S3 transmitter and Denton DTR 1200 amplifier, about 600 watts, and a 75S3B receiver. So still having a lot of fun with this stuff. Fairly recent acquisition, so I'm a new Collins owner and still in total awe of the stuff. So anyway, yeah, it's been a wild week as far as the weather is concerned. I work for San Bernardino County, and we are in the thick of dealing with the snow disaster up in the mountains. And so I got some interesting insights into some of the goings on that maybe a lot of people aren't aware of. And I
got a 6-second lead over second place.
And yeah, I get it. There's a lot of that going on. The winters have been really mild. The last few years, a lot of people have moved up there, and they just had nothing to compare to. But on the other side of that, there is, for example, a grocery store and hardware store that have been up there for many, many years in buildings that have endured many, many snowstorms and blizzard conditions for decades. Their roofs collapsed because of the weight of the snow. So this is definitely different, and especially for the newcomers up there, the idea of being prepared, there's not really a good reference point for a lot of people up there to be prepared for. So there is that. And then on the public safety side, I'm involved in the radio systems and so on, and they're scrambling. The fire folks and rescue folks are scrambling for whatever equipment they have because there's just so many calls for service and so much going on. We actually have a pair of radio techs that are out driving around in our department's snowcat that we use for getting snow to calm sites in the wintertime. They're running fire and police calls, carrying firemen and sheriff's deputies to 911 calls because they don't have enough vehicles that can get through all the heavy snow. And those folks are pretty well prepared. So this is something. And so I would say don't be too hard on the folks that live up there because they're calling this a once-in-a-generation type storm. So it's no matter how well prepared you are, this is too much for even the veterans up there to deal with all of a sudden. It's quite something. And just to give you an out numerous sites up there, radio sites with no AC power. And our generator maintenance crews, who are Snowcat equipped, can't get to the sites. We are actually having to helicopter in fuel to keep the generators running. So, very, very busy. It's been an interesting week. That's all I got for this round. Let's see, I'm supposed to kick it to K6LK. I thought I heard him check out, but we'll see what happens. K6LK and the Collins Net, this is WA6JBD.
The order got messed up there. Let's see if I've got it.
Down here just right now.
Yeah, okay. WA6JBD, W60Q. Okay, Mel. Yeah, well, you got the first-hand account of what's going on up there. So, yeah, you guys are in the thick of it. I get it. And maybe I am being too hard on it, but, you know, I still believe, I really have to believe that you can be prepared for something like this, and you have to expect things like that. I mean, it's I don't know about the once in a generation. I remember us having some storms here about 30, 40 years ago that were pretty horrific. And, you know, you guys were talking about, let's see, Mike was talking about the storms in 82 and 80, what was it, 80? You said 81, 82. I remember a storm in 1983 that I was living at Hermosa Beach, and waves were breaking at the top of basically at the far side of the beach. They were hitting the strand, so that the beach sand was covered with water, and it was making it all the way up to Hermosa Avenue, which is, you know, a block from the beach. So it was pretty amazing. My neighbor and I lost our power, and we were the last people to get our power back on in Hermosa Beach in that storm, and we made the news. They were following around an Edison crew that was working on our place and working in our neighborhood, and got our power back on, and that was interesting. Yeah, we were without power for a few days up there, but, you know, we just rode through it. It wasn't, you know, it was a bad storm, and thankfully I was up on the high ground. That was one thing I was thankful for, is that we're up on a ridge, which, by the way, was great for VHF and UHF, and I did a lot of that up there, but it was a good place to be high and dry, but we lost power anyway. But yeah, I saw I guess there's been several of the markets have had their roofs collapse, and well, I don't know, I won't say any more about that, but yeah, you would think that these guys have been there for a long time and they should know what to expect. But yeah, maybe you're right that it was a lot heavier snowfall. You know, I was just looking at I think Mammoth was saying, I believe it was Mammoth, and I just can't remember. For the season, it's had 500 inches of snow, and that blows my mind. Oh, I remember what the other thing was in '83. Let me share this. I was working at Hughes in '83, and we were working at a satellite ground station up at a place called Three Peaks up in Northern California, which is on the let's see, where is it? It's near, Marshall Petaluma Highway. That's where it is. If you guys up there in the Bay Area, you're familiar with that. It's way back in the valley back there. We were working with these guys in that through the storms, and we got out of there before the storm really came down on that place. And it wasn't snow, but it was rain. It washed out the road and washed out the power lines getting to the station, and they ran off of emergency power for 30 days. They were bringing in supplies by helicopter, and the crew was having to camp out there because there's no other way to get into the station. And I remember that the chief engineer there who I was working with was telling me that they had a 30-day supply of fuel, and they had their generator was using a jet turbine from a Huey was what they had for their emergency power source. So that was kind of an interesting. It's the first time I'd seen a jet turbine used for a backup generator. That was pretty cool. But 30 days, you know, being stuck there. That was pretty nasty stuff. But that was quite a storm. And I remember one of the things that he told me was that they'd been talking to some guys with the Southern Pacific that checked the rail lines going through the Sierras, and they said at one of the snow sheds somewhere up in the Sierras, I don't remember where it was, but there was 50 feet, that's 50 feet on top of the snow shed, on one of the passes that they went, or on one of the mountains they went over, one of their grades somewhere up in the Sierras. And that to me is just, that's almost incomprehensible. 50 feet of snow. That's pretty bad. Anyway, I have to share with you guys, Joe, N6DVD, is with us on Zoom right now. He checked in. He's saying hi. And it's good to see him on there. Nice. It'd be nice when we get him back on the air. If you can get an antenna up for 75 meters and come and join. He's shaking his head. Oh, well. Be good to get him there someday. Anyway, let's see. Let me make a quick break, see if we got anybody else who'd like to join us, and we'll go back up. Well, see, we've got about 10 minutes left. Maybe see if we can do a real quick round. About half the folks here have checked out, but let's do a real quick one. But let me see if there's anybody else who'd like to jump in here. This is W6DQ Net Control for the Collins Net.
WJ6W.
Gotcha, Dave. Welcome. Anyone else? Nothing heard. Nice signal, Dave. Why don't you take a turn and go ahead and give it back to me? WJ6W from W6DQ.
Okay, Dennis. Yeah, well, sorry we're late tonight. We just, we had a long dinner, I guess, and just didn't get in here until now. So, anyway, good conditions it seems like, and I guess you're discussing the snow. I'll just say that we had 10 inches of rain here at our QTH measured on our property, and roughly, 10 plus. And I guess that's accurate because officially Woodland Hills next door had about 10 inches. So amazing. And we didn't have much in the way of flooding or anything around the yard, but that was quite a bit for here. And as far as the snow goes on that discussion, I've been here since 1981, I guess. I don't remember ever hearing of 100 inches of rain, snow, 100 inches of snow in the local mountains. So it seems unprecedented to me, at least in my time here. Anyway, back to you, Dennis, W6DQ, WJ6W.
All right, Dave, very good. WJ6W, W6DQ. Yeah, I think it's been a long time since they had that much snow up there. On average, Mammoth gets 400 inches of snow in the season. And this year, I was just looking at the numbers, 524 inches of snow at the main lodge and 673 inches at the summit of Mammoth Mountain. That's amazing. Second deepest snowfall behind. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, 524. In 2016, 2017, they had 617 inches at the main lodge there at Mammoth. So that's a lot of snow. But man, oh man, yeah, and seeing my friends get stuck on 395 here, not being able to get up to Mammoth for their ski trip, and they got up there, and of course the mountain's closed because nobody can get anything working up there. Also, ski lifts are all shut down because of all the snow. Anyway, pretty amazing. All right, well, Dave, you got a great signal, and yeah, is that 10 inches? I got to ask you, is that 10 inches on top of the 26? Or no, you said 32 the other day, or 31 inches the other day. Is that on top of that? Go ahead.
No, our total is around 30-something inches for the year. So, yeah, the 10 inches was a part of that.
They weren't too bad. They sounded good. They had a couple.
Okay, got it. That was maybe this last series of storms is what you were talking about. Okay, very good. Yeah, I remember you talking about the 30-plus inches. That's just incredible to me. But I can't remember what we had. I'd have to look and see at the stats from '83 to see what was going on there. Oh, let's see. It's almost 8 o'clock. We probably don't have time to do a 7-3 round here. I'm just going to say I'm just going to go ahead and shut the net down. And I know what I was going to mention. Mike, you were talking about 20 meters. Yeah, it's the DX contest is on this weekend. It started about at 0 hours UTC this afternoon here. And so 20 meters is bound to be hopping. I was kind of worried that 75 might be getting kind of active about this time of night, but we'll see. And it's worth, if you're even if you're not into it, it's worth going up and listening to it, and because it's just the pileups are amazing during these DX contests. So this is the sideband DX contest this weekend. So listen, I'm going to officially close the Collins Collectors Association Friday Night Net. I'm going to bid everyone 7-3 and wish you all a great evening, what's left of it, and a great weekend. And hopefully Max will be back for the net next week. Hopefully he'll be back in town to take over the reins next Friday. We'll find out, and it'll go out on Friday morning in the email. So best wishes to everybody, 7-3, and a good evening, and thanks for all participating. This is a good net tonight. We had some great signals. Conditions were excellent, and we thank you for being here. So it's W6DQ. We're going to be signing off. Good night, all.